Etti. I'm the founder of AGS Tribe. So AGS Tribe is a community of fearless and ambitious women. We have a platform that connects women to each other and to opportunities. So opportunities like grants, fellowships, loans, jobs, scholarships, and all of that. So we currently have over 1,000 women in our community, and it's subscription based. You know, it's 5,000 naira monthly, one or 50,000 naira for the year, and we have different sessions, capacity building workshops, and we have so many testimonials that have come to from people that are within the community. And we literally started the community in December, like the closed community, although we've had the page for a while now. So I'd like you to introduce yourself, what you do, and talk a bit about your journey. I'll go into more detail. I'll ask you more questions.
I was about to say we could be here for a really long time. You might want to, because I'm a talker. So you might want to kind of like, okay, what part do you really want me to talk about? Because that way, I don't know how much time we have. I don't know.
Okay. So we have
how much time do we have? How long are you planning?
So the first hour.
1 hour, I mean, or
no,
two.
2.
Okay.
So the first hour, I usually ask questions back and forth, and then you respond. And then in the second hour, sometimes it spills over to the second hour, but you know, Instagram cuts off the Instagram
after an hour.
After an hour. Yeah, so we come back and then we take questions from the audience. But if the audience doesn't have questions, then it's also fine. But I'm sure they'll have questions because, trust me, your story is inspiring. Like when I watched it, I cried. I was like, oh my God.
How about me, the owner of the story, cries? So don't worry about it.
I was like, man, I don't know how, you know, you can go through that and still come out strong.
How about there's still plenty that happened after, but
wow, please hit me. Please tell us about your journey and what you do now.
It's, as I said, it's really, really long. So I'm trying to figure out, especially when you said the topic was something about mistakes in I'm sorry?
Untold stories of failure.
Untold stories. So it's like that's pretty much I started from the beginning, me thinking let me also start from the beginning. So my name is Remi Fagbohun. Some people know me, some people don't know me. I'm never presumptuous like that. I'm a mother of one. He's 17. I sometimes forget myself. But I'm from Nigeria, was born here. Lived in Nigeria. Well, born here, was here till I was like 11, 12. Then went back to Nigeria, went to secondary school out there. And of course, the usual family dynamics of just Nigeria being Nigeria happened. So what you see in King Women is really me, or the first part of King Women anyway, is the beginning part of me leaving Nigeria and just understanding that. There were so many other things that happened after that. I became one of my hobbies, which was, I was always this personality you see, which Instagram is, I guess, fond of calling me an auntie. I've always been this way. And back then it was like, why is she so friendly? Like, this one is not normal. But that was literally me. And that friendly personality means that I actually met a lot of people where other people feel that relationships or friendships are like, okay, this person can't be my friend. I was oblivious. So it didn't matter whether you're rich, you were poor. I didn't presume anything of my rich friends, but they would often come back with items that they wanted to sell, but they could never sell it because they were very cliquey. I was never cliquey. I'm still not cliquey. Nobody can say they know one person with me. I'm everywhere, literally. So, but because of that one thing, I would know somebody that wanted to buy something that someone had. And so I was like the middle person. Now, I was doing that for years because I was really looking for money, and that was my way of getting money. So I never presumed that my friends would bring things back for me as gifts, but I always was the business connecting person because I always knew somebody that wanted to buy something from the people that wanted to buy something. Never thought of it as a profession. Didn't think anything of it until I left and came back to America. And then I had people like, okay, Remi, remember that item you bought me? Can you help me get something else? I'm like, sure, but I don't remember what I bought you, Sha, but bring money. So that became a hobby. Fast forward a couple of years, where it started becoming a money maker was when I met my husband, which was, again, there's so many things that happened in between. But by the time I met my husband, I was like, yeah, he's cute, but I'm like, I don't like his closet. So I changed his entire closet in like a year. And then his friends were like, oh boy, how far? Like, where are you getting all these things? It's like, this crazy girl that I'm dating. I don't have anything that I started. I don't even know how she did it, Cha. Okay, when she's going to America again, can she help me buy? And literally. So even then, I still wasn't thinking of it as a business until I moved back to, okay, all of this was in between. I was now in London. I've gone all over the place. So I was in Nigeria, then London, America, then back to London. So this was in between that London bit when I was living with my husband in London. So I had to leave London every 6 months to just get my passport stamped again. In between that period, someone actually now had a really big order and wanted me to change his wife. Okay, by this time I had my son, and they were now like, you know what? I like how you dress, all three of you. It wasn't matchy, but it always looked coordinated. And it was like, I want to do that as a push gift for my wife. I'm like, what's your budget? He said 10,000. My mind, I'm like, Sopranos was still high. And I said, I'm in America, 10,000. Like, hey, wait, I need to come and think of how to. So I sat down and spoke to somebody about like, how do I set up a business and all of that stuff. And here we are.
Fantastic.
Short version.
Yes. So I'm going to take you back to the part of what I saw in Kemi Adetiba's King Women series.
Okay.
So I watched that and I saw that, you know, you were very strong and you've grown to be a very, very strong woman.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm not reading because I can get distracted. That's why I'm trying to like focus on her. And I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm just like trying to see her because I can start talking here now and I won't remember where I was. So let me focus on you. But I'm not ignoring anybody. Hi.
Okay. So I saw that you're very strong because of a lot of things that have happened, you know, while you were growing up and all that. So I wanted to ask you, so I know that from your story, you said you were in America till you were about 10, and then your parents decided that they wanted to come back to Nigeria, and they left you in America with your nanny, and the nanny was really good, and she took care of you, and then eventually you came back to Nigeria. But I wanted to know how that process went, because you're really young. I think you probably moved back when you were also 10 as well. So
during that period that we were left on our own, it was between 10 and 11.
Okay.
10 and 11, my sister and I. So it was both of us in America. And yeah, we didn't like it. Nah, I wish we knew better. But back then we were like, no, we can't be away from our parents. I was born in America, sorry. But yeah, I was like, we can't stay away from our parents. So I was like, from the beginning, I've always been conniving. Let me not even lie. Because even then I was like, okay, this is what we are going to do. My sister and I was like, we need to have a plan. We're not coming back. When we go to Nigeria next, we are going to plan. We're going to pack all our stuff. We're not coming back. So my dad had no clue that was our goal. But when we went for the holiday, that particular, I think it was that summer, we had already made our plan that we're not going back. We're going to stay wherever our parents were. If only I had known.
Okay, so really, watching that story, you know, you came back to Nigeria while your parents were with you in America. They were very, very close. You know, you guys had like a very close knit family, and then you came back to Nigeria. Your parents said they wanted to start a business called Smilers, and then they came back. So the plan was to, you know, start the business, grow the business, and all that. But coincidentally, or you know, fortunately, your dad got an appointment with the government as a commissioner. And you know, things didn't really pan out as planned, as you guys had planned before. So do you think that politics, you know, really, really affected how your family could have, you know, eventually been? So what's your take on politics and all that? How do you think politics can affect, you know, families if you're not prepared?
Politics is not the only. See, that's it's a very, very good question. But I don't really think that it has all to do with politics. See, when we were growing up, I could have said that I was really gung-ho against politics, but I kind of still am, because I just feel like politics is just one of those, you can't win any which way you go about it. You do right by this person, you're not going to do right by another person. So politics is just one of those things that you really aren't going to win any which way. So that's my personal opinion on politics. But I think that in our family dynamics, it wasn't just, now that I am older, it wasn't just politics. I grew up thinking that it was. But I also realized that regardless of whatever direction a family is going to take, it involves two people. So that is the husband and the wife. And like it or not, as I've gotten older as well, and I've spoken to more and more women, and I've seen more and more women go through all these various things, I realized that women don't realize how much a voice they have in charting their own direction, or the direction of the family as well. So in my mom's case, for so many other reasons, she wasn't as strong. And my mom is no different from any other woman. We're, you know, we're soft. We want love. We want all these romantic ideas. And but then that's one of the reasons why I talk so much online about relationships and stuff, because people don't realize that you have a part to play in this as well. Now, even when my dad was doing all of that, my mom could have, if she were stronger, be like, you know what, you're on your, do this, you're doing you for right now. I'm going to still try, you know, stick to the course. Like it or not, as much as they go and they deviate, and this is generally about men, they always come back to the standing strong force. And that was what I think that we didn't have in that little situation. And that's part of my mom's personal story as well. So from thinking of all of that and using grown eyes to look at it now, I look back and I'm like, okay, they both had a part to play in this. They both came this way. Something an aunt of mine said to me a long time ago is that men are going to act up, whether you like it or not. It's up to you to figure out how you are going to allow that to affect you. So ideally speaking, he did what he felt he needed to do. She, again, could have tried it a different path. The businesses were there, but she was really more focused on her husband. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but there's got to be a way to do this in a way whereby your family doesn't suffer from it as well. So I wouldn't really put it down to, I think that it still comes back to the man and woman dynamic.
Okay, fantastic. So when I was watching, it was as if it was like a deja vu, because I'm really, really vicious about women having their own. So it's not necessarily even just money. Money is very, very important, but having your own voice, and it takes us back to what you just said, having your own voice and all of that. So, and I know that I always say that, see, anything like if anything happens to your husband, or nobody's praying for anything bad to happen,
God forbid, yeah.
But
you've got to be able to stand on your own.
When I've seen maybe the husband gets sick and the wife can't do anything, the husband dies, the wife cannot do anything, the husband loses his job, the wife can't do anything, and the family just goes down under. And you know, people are wondering, or even you are wondering, that how did we get here? And that's when illness comes in, depression comes in, and all that, because you can't really pick yourself up from where you are, which is why I feel it's important for both parties to be financially empowered and all that. So do you
financially empowered, as well as also beyond the financial empowerment, there also is an emotional connection that men don't necessarily know how to do. So it's one thing for you to say that, okay, a woman is making her money and a man's making their money, but there has to be something that is still connecting you guys as well. And if there's no emotional connection, there's nothing, even when they act up, because remember, we're all human. Women tend to mature a whole lot faster than men do. So if you're the one, I always say that that's me, because I've learned from all the mistakes and all the various things that have happened in my life. So for me, it's a little different. I'm thinking 10 years ahead in like stuff like that, but that's not the way it is for the average man. So you know what I mean? So the men are not thinking like that. And most times women feel like, okay, I can't say, or I shouldn't have my voice, or I shouldn't say anything about the direction. And even with me, I had to learn early. We had so many issues earlier on whereby I would think, okay, if I'm thinking it, how come you're not thinking it? Like, I don't understand. And it took a while for us to get to the point whereby, okay, I realized that this is just not his strong suit. This is not what it's not that he's being intentional. It's just that he just doesn't think like that.
So learning from your mom's story or the scenario, because your parents were very, very close, and then all of
they
a sudden,
were.
Yes.
They were, or for what it seemed like. Remember, now that you're older, you're like, were they really, or that was just all I saw?
So, but what do you think about? How did you feel about that?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for my mom at all.
Okay, so the next question I have.
It was very rough for her.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No. I thought
Go
you
ahead,
didn't want to go into detail. I thought you didn't want to go into detail when you paused. So that's
no. I was answering, but you're freezing. No, you're freezing.
Okay.
It's just that you're freezing. No, it's okay. I was waiting for it to settle before I answer because I didn't want you to miss it. It's not like I can't talk about it, because like it or not, it's a lot of stuff that a lot of women kind of need to understand.
Yes.
It was tough for her. It was very, very tough for her. And I've always said that I don't want to ever find myself in that type of scenario. And for a long time, I carried that chip on my shoulder. Like, I don't want to be this person. I'm not going to be my mom, blah, 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 blah. But I realized as well, as I said, as I got older, I realized that, okay, but my mom had all these various choices. She had an American passport. Why didn't she leave? Why didn't she figure it out? But then again, if she had left, it would seem as if, okay, you left your children. So there's always this struggle as to what should you do? What shouldn't you do? And the only person that's going to be able to tell you or be able to make that decision is honestly you. She did what she felt she needed to do at that point in time. So I really do not judge anyone on anything. And I always say that about every, and maybe that's part of the reason why I get along with many people. I don't judge. I feel like everybody's going to do what they think is right to them. It's all dependent on who's in your ear, who's around you, what you know. That's what's going to determine the choices that you make, literally. So for me, I felt like, yeah, that she had many other choices that she could have made. I would have loved for her to still be alive. And I could, you know, when I was younger, I used to always dream about her, and I would be thinking that, okay, she can't really be dead. I'm going to see her somewhere on the streets of New York or whatever. I was a kid, so I used to have all these romantic little dreams, thinking that I would catch her somewhere, thinking that she couldn't possibly be dead. But she did. And what I learned from that is just to be stronger. Don't let your life be defined. I love my husband to bits, but I'm not defined. I'm my own person by myself without him. Yes, he's here. We are in addition together. We're good, but I'm still me. And I think that a lot of women are not necessarily working on themselves, making sure that they're their own person. They rely too much sometimes on the man. And then so when they now either act up, and mind you, they are moody, they're whatever, when they now have their moments, you're distraught. Expect those moments to come and still be strong.
Wow. I love the insight that you're giving, because these are some of the issues that a lot of women face, you know, sometimes as they're getting older.
Especially Nigerian women, because they don't break it down for us. Nobody breaks it down. No, but I'm being serious. It's the truth. I think we get a lot of, even my aunts, that I have one particular aunt that always used to talk to me. Now she's like, well, I've taught you everything. so she doesn't really have much to do anymore. But when she used to tell me that, you know, your husband is this, I'm like, why? That's not how I want to live my life. I'm not doing it like that. But I understand where she's coming from, meaning that your husband is still your crown and all of that. You're supposed to take care of it, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to get dinged up every so often. You're just going to look at it, and even though it's dinged up and you might fix it a little, you'll realize that, okay, even after I fix you, and you might have to shake it a little, you're still my husband, so to speak. Because they're all, like it or not, there's all something with all of them. So yeah, you can ditch this one and say you want to pick up another one, but you don't know what you're going to meet with the next one. Do you want to keep jumping from person to person, or do you want to, this one actually figured out this is his issue? Do you want to deal with him with his issue? It really comes back to the woman. But a lot of women don't know this.
Yes, we don't really understand our power. And I think a lot of things settle down a little bit if you actually have your own.
I think that it still comes, it's not even just about having your own. It's also just, sorry, go ahead. You're freezing. You're freezing. Hello. She's gone again. Oh, no, you're frozen. I didn't know whether you were still on my end. You're back, I think, but you're frozen. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, let me try to connect to the internet, but I'm not going to cut off.
Okay, you're back. You're back now.
Okay, I'm back. Okay.
So what was the last thing?
Can't hear me.
No, it's slow, but it's coming. It's there's a slight delay. So you're back on now.
Okay. So,
but I didn't hear your last question.
I think
it's all about, you actually have to have your own self-confidence, because it's not even just about having your own money. You can have all the money in the world and still have, yeah. Are we good now? I said it's not just about having your own money. You have to have your own self-identity as well. Do you want to log off and log back on? Are you not using your internet? Because I
am. I'm using my phone internet, but I'm going to switch over
okay.
to like.
So we don't need to log off.
No, we don't need to log off. I'll
Okay.
come back in like 2 seconds. Okay.
Okay. No worries. Hey. Are you back?
Yeah, it's better now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
fantastic. Okay.
What was I saying? It's not just about money. It's not just about money, because you could have all the money in the world with zero self-confidence. You're going to feel as if you'll always keep feeling as if your money is not enough. It doesn't matter. You could have zero money and have a lot of self-confidence. Please, I'm not rich, but I have self-confidence. So that's the difference.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, you just have to have self-confidence, but that comes back to you knowing yourself and knowing that what you bring to the table is not just about money. It isn't. And that same thing applies in your marital home too. You might feel, the thing about it is, I think that with women, and this happens a lot, even on a regular basis, with women, at times we make emotional decisions, or we attach a lot of emotion to things. Okay, is it because it's not your fault? You're treating me this way because I have to come and collect money from you, or you're treating this way because I have to come and meet. Put that to one side. He probably would do that even if you were the one giving him money. It doesn't make a difference. Sometimes it has nothing to do with that, but you've attached an emotion to it and you feel like that's what it is, and it might not necessarily be that. Oh, she's gone again. Are you there? Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me?
It happens. I can hear you now, but you were frozen for a bit.
Oh, okay.
But I can hear you now.
Okay, so we're going to go deeper now. So I remember you saying, that when you saw your mom put something in your dad's food, and then you reported your mom to your dad, and that eventually, even if you at that point in time you're already having issues, and then your dad, made a
use that as an opportunity.
Yeah, use that as an opportunity to tell her to leave the house and all of that. So how were you able to get over that? Because after you, like you,
for a long time I blamed myself. Oh, I can't hear you. You're freezing. But I kind of get the gist of what you're saying. I have a rough idea of what you're saying. You're asking, yeah, I can hear you now, but you were pausing in between. So I think you were trying to ask how I got over it, right?
Yes.
Was that? For the longest, I blamed myself. I felt like, because once my mom left, I now realized that my dad wasn't the saint that I thought he was. So from the beginning, you remember, I have to paint a better picture. The man, now that I'm older, it totally makes sense. But the man he goes to work, he comes back, he does not do anything, he doesn't, but it just seems like, but when he comes back, hey, blah, 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 and he has your time, you talk. But meanwhile, the mom that has been with you all day, she's the one that knows that either the meeting has gone longer, he's not doing this, he's either off on a trip or carrying girls, whatever. She's the one that knows all of that and has to deal with it. And so for the longest, we didn't feel like, ah, this woman is not happy. She didn't seem to love us. But now that I'm older, I look at it like, wow, she must have been going through a lot. From that, I learned that no matter what is going on in the house, it does not spill to my son. My son, there are too many things my son is oblivious about, because I've learned to, when he was younger anyway, I learned to protect him, because I remember growing up and seeing and I'm feeling that my mom was not happy and didn't love me. I didn't want that to be the case for my son. But back to my mom, I felt as if, you know what, if I hadn't opened my big mouth, this would not have happened. But even her, thank God, before she died, we had a conversation, and I was begging her and I was telling her that I was sorry. And she said, it had nothing to do with me, that it was, the way she said it was aye, that it was life that got into it, that, but it was not my fault, that it could have been anything. That could have been something that they would have handled amongst the house immediately. It didn't have to be anything if my dad didn't make it something. So that it's not really my fault. So I was happy at least I had that conversation. But regardless, I still blamed myself for it, because I was like, you know what, if only I had known better. So I think if I took in anything from that, it was that, you know, yes, I still think fast. I'm still very decisive, but I think of it from multiple angles before I make up my mind on anything, because I was only looking at it from one side. I never thought to have a conversation with my mom, but that was also because I didn't feel particularly close to her. And from all said and done, if she was cranky, we would be beaten. You know what I mean? So there were so many other things going on. I was like, it can't be my dad. My dad cannot be my dad. My mom is the problem, because that was just what I saw. So if I took anything from that, besides the fact that, you know, her passing on and us talking before she died, it was that, you know what, you can't just assume you know everything from just one side. You have to look at it from multiple angles.
So was she ill?
Are you frozen
So
again?
what happened? Was she ill before she passed on? And do you think that
she was ill, but we didn't, I was young then, so I couldn't tell you the details about all of that. They just said she was sick, and then she died, and there was a funeral. The kids of these days, you can ask questions. Those days, do you get to ask questions? All you know is, hey, you're being picked up from school, your mom's dead. I'm like, wait, what? We were not together, so it's not like I was in boarding school, so it wasn't a situation whereby we went to see her in a hospital or we knew. And we already know, if you think the Nigerian medical system now is bad, moving back a couple of years, it was probably even worse. And she wasn't actually with my dad. She was on her own. So yeah, there's so many scenarios, and we all have different views, but she passed on. How do you think women what? Sorry, I can't hear you very clearly. It's okay. It's okay. We understand the network. I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay, so seeing how that played out, you know, do you think that women should not allow things like that affect them, in terms of like when they have issues with their husbands, they should find other ways to make themselves happy, because it can actually affect their health? So what would be your, just learning from that, or in hindsight, how do you think women can deal with these kinds of issues better?
It still goes back to what I was saying earlier. I compartmentalize. I'm not gonna make you sound, I say this all the time. Yes, we are all happy-go-lucky, but it's not as if we don't have our various times that we have issues. But when he has issues, I put him in a box and I leave him to one side and I go about my business. That's why I said that you have to be able to, I think I was even talking about it today, you've got to be able to own your own happiness. You can't tie it to the whims of somebody that's going to have 1 minute he's great, the next minute he may not be. You can't tie it, or it might even not be just a couple of days. It could be months. The point is, you need to be able to like separate it and be your own person. That is still the most important thing. Be your own person, not the one that doesn't care, because you can't then, it's the same thing with these men. You can't leave them completely on their own, because you leave them completely on their own again, then there's the same mouth they used to say that you abandoned them. So you have to still keep an eye on it. It's kind of like cooking. You can't stay there watching your jollof rice cook. You put an eye on it, knowing that you need to check on it so it doesn't burn, but you can't stay there watching it 24/7 either. You'll still go about doing your business and go and check on it every so often. It's the same thing.
Okay, fantastic. So another question I would like to ask is, how important has friendships been on your journey?
For me, my friendships have been everything, because if not for my friends, there were so many times when I was a teenager, I wanted to give up because I could not see my way out of it for anything. I didn't think I could get out of that situation. I was in Accra. I couldn't find my passport. I couldn't find anything. So I was like, where the heck do we even begin to start from? But it was literally my friends like, Remi, you can do it, or, you know, or hearing of other situations. When you're in your own little bubble, you'll feel as if that's the whole world, really. And you can't see outside of anything to see that anything can happen in any way. So it was my friends that made me realize that, Remi, it's not the end of the world. You do have options. On your own, if you're by yourself, you really don't think you have any options. So for me, and that's still, even up till now, my friends have been really helpful. There have been things that I thought I was doing the right way, and my friend would be like, "Sure, you know, you are too harsh in this your delivery." I'm like, really? How? So, but I am open to that. A lot of people are not. A lot of people don't, and I talk about this all the time on my page, that a lot of people are not open to hearing about themselves. But you can't see yourself. You can only see, I mean, you need somebody else that's going to be able to tell you what it is that you're doing that is either right or wrong. Oh, this is what you're doing is great. And wait, so this one is a little, I'm like, yeah, really, are you sure? But again, that's because I'm confident enough in myself, and I know the people that I call my friends, and I trust them. So for me, my friends, as I said, from the beginning have been everything. So I've not had a bad experience with friends. But then again, my bullshit radar is very, if you're full of BS, we wouldn't get along, because I'm a straight shooter. Can you hear me?
Everything, you know, I'm me, I can just go to my friend's house, and I know that, you know, just having a conversation, or, you know, just gisting with them, I know that I'll feel better, or just going to dance.
Exactly.
Something. So
It
once you have
helps.
that, yeah, it helps, and it gives you that support system. I always say,
With
when,
men, I think one of those things that, sorry, go ahead. I'll let you
no,
finish.
no, no,
My
continue.
apologies.
No, finish, please.
No, you were saying something. I thought I caught a break, so I thought you were done, but then I realized that it was just frozen.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I wanted to give an example. So, for example, when husband did or something like that. So, but what I find women do these days is, once they get married, they just stop talking to all their friends, especially the single ones. And I always tell them, I'm like, you don't even understand what is coming. You need people around you. You need people you can bounce off ideas, you know, with. You know, your husband doesn't have to be your, you know, everything, your all in all, you know, because I think it can wreck you, you know. Even if, you know, you respect your husband, you love your husband, you go and meet your head, you know, all of that. But I feel like you should still keep people around you, because you just never know what might happen. I've seen women who don't have any friends anymore once they get married, and I'm like, you know, I wish you understood. You know, so you're saying something.
I think that also you need to realize that at different stages of your life, you're going to need different friends. As you get married, your single friends might not necessarily be, you still need them. Don't get me wrong. I still have my friends from back then up to the ones I'm making now. I have a very good way of carrying people along, but you're going to need your married friends, because, or you're going to need to make married friends, and then you're going to make friends when you have toddlers and then teens, and you're going to need friends in different parts of your life, because they've been where you're trying to get to. If you only hold on to the ones you had in the past, and they're not where you are now, you basically have no help or direction. So one of those things, I know there was this no new friend situation that people talk about. That couldn't work for me. The people that I met when my son was 1, What about those ones? My friends, my real friends that were in Nigeria, they are no longer. They were still. Some of them are still in Nigeria. One's in London. So I would have no friends. You are going to have to make, and mind you, some of them are still not married today, but they're still my friends. I needed to make the ones that were going to help me, like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you balance. This is how you do the kid thing. I mean, I literally learned from, I learned from my neighbor. I learned sleep training from my neighbor, random white woman that was like, she had just taken out her child. I'm like, wait, how is your child not out with you? And she's like, well, I sleep train. I'm like, please, what is that? So I make friends. It's never been a problem for me to make friends and talk to people. And I am why when everybody says like you're wise, it's because I talk to people. That has literally been it. And then I also learn, I'm critical of myself, and I learned from my own mistakes. But then again, I also learn from the mistakes of people that share with me.
Citizen. Can you tell us about that journey and how it has been from then on? Because I know you said a lot of things have happened. So let's know what's happening.
Yes, yeah, a lot. Um, yeah. So we finally got like I'm trying to figure out where they was like. See, even getting the passport was even a complicated story in itself, because imagine you trying to, it's not like the passports were in a filing cabinet. You've gone to the embassy, they didn't have your, I think I found one random report card. So I took that random report card that I was American. And obviously you could hear my accent, whatever, but he's like, you need more proof. And I'm like, how am I supposed to find proof? So this is me for years digging through my dad's stuff in a way that he won't know I'm digging to find proof or that I was American.
Wow.
So we would dig. My siblings would be on the lookout, and then we would go upstairs, try and dig through and put it back the same way he left it, just to try and find bits and pieces again. Because of that, I'm very anal with. Because of there's so many things that we have when we're growing up that affect us. I am very particular about filing. Everything, everybody in my house has a file. Everything you need is in the file because of how we grew up. Wow. Because I don't want my son to ever have to look for anything. You have a file, everything you're looking for is inside your file. You will never have to look like, okay, where is it? No, it's in your file. Simple. But so I had to prove myself, and when I eventually got it, that was one part. Okay, you finally get your passport, one part. Fortunately, this my same, one of my friends from London had come back, and he brought one of his friends. We started dating. So I now had a long distance relationship with somebody in London. So when it was time for me to, when I finally got my passport, my friend and my boyfriend, both of them together, put money together for my ticket. So between those two, we didn't have electronic. We're talking about over 20 something years ago. So there was no electronic bookings. There was a hard ticket. And I was busy waiting. We weren't sure whether I was going to travel, whether I was not going to travel. And so basically they bought my ticket in London and gave it to a woman, and they described what she was wearing. So I had my bag packed, I had my passport, and then I was looking for the woman that tied one wrapper at the airport to see whether, because she had my ticket. So she's getting off the plane, and literally I got my ticket from, huh?
I said, did your dad know that you were leaving?
I didn't hear you.
Did your dad know at the time that
my
you were
dad,
leaving?
no, my dad and I were not. My dad and I stopped talking completely after he came and he beat me in my friend's house. So he came and beat me in my friend's house. And after that, I stopped telling him where I was.
Do you guys still talk now?
He's dead now.
Oh.
He's passed. The person that I call my dad is my dad's younger brother. That's my uncle. My dad, my dad is actually gone. He died a few years ago. Wow. But we spoke before. We did talk. We talked before he passed on, and a lot of the stuff he's very. Actually, but I've gone through a lot. I've gone through many different journeys, and I actually understood my dad at the end of the day, because it's not as if. And this goes back to what I said about men and women. If you don't have a strong woman with you, a strong woman in the home, there's certain times, and I'm sure do you have kids? Do you have kids? Do you have kids? No? She can't hear me. Can you hear me? Do you have kids? Okay. So you do find that there are times when your husband is a bit angry. You're the one that two kids. Do you know when there are times when your husband is angry and you're the one to say, okay, it's enough. You're like you're the buffer when he wants to lose it, or he might be going off and doing something. We didn't have that in my house. My mom wasn't there, so there was no buffer. So you know what I mean? So if I'm looking back on where I am now and I look at the fact that I'm the one arranging things with my husband and Charles, making sure that they're okay, doing this, doing that, running interference, because they're very similar. There was nobody to do that. Because the women that my dad married afterwards were basically, my dad was not an easy person. So they needed to fend for themselves. They were busy fending for themselves. How can they be defending us when they were busy still trying to figure it themselves out?
Oh.
So he's a product of a number of things. My dad was a product of a mother that, one of the reasons why I'm really not strict, but I have a better, or I'm very hands-on with raising Charles. Some of these men were not raised like we were raised. They would be so strict with the women and how they want to raise the women. Women should do this, women should do that. But then when it comes to the boys, they're like, oh, okay, it doesn't matter. They can do whatever. And I think that that's wrong. But that's the product of, that was what my dad was coming from. In my grandmother's eyes, my dad could do no wrong. So, and then my mom, who he did marry, was very soft-spoken, very, you know what I mean? And again, maybe they were just not suited for one another, she needed to be stronger. But like it or not, that was her personality. You know what I mean? So all of these various things, I feel like a woman needs to understand that she has to be, before you get married, one of the things I tell people all the time, all the girls that I mentor, you've got to be strong enough yourself before you get married, because marriage will shake you.
Oh boy. You can say that again.
Not in a bad way. If you're ready for it, it's not in a bad way. It's kind of like, oh, when you start working or you're going to school, or it's just that you just got to prepare. All of it is important. You just have to be ready for the fact that marriage will shake you. It's not, I'm not trying to be negative. I will remarry again. If anything happens, God forbid, I say it all the time, I'll remarry in a year. I loved being married, but you have to know what you're doing. In order to enjoy it. You can't go into it without understanding what marriage is. And I didn't know. I figured a lot of it out. We had issues, many, and I'm grateful for the people that were around me at those points in time, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah. I think everybody's just trying to figure it out and all that.
Exactly. And then you're coming with your views, you're coming with their views. Yeah, they just, and again, it depends. You have to understand the person you're marrying as well. Some of them are raised right, some of them were not raised right, some of them they were enabled to do whatever, some of them, the people they dated allowed them to get away with whatever. You're coming along trying to be this, they're like, wait, where are you going with that? So it all depends. But that's why dating is so important. You've got to figure out the kind of person that's going to work with your personality. Got her with the rapper. I had my passport. The passport they gave me then was not the American passport. The first American passport I got was, thank you, Dorcas. The first American passport I got was I guess maybe because it was issued from London. It was a little dodgy looking. They only gave me 30 days to stay in London. Me being me, I did not know. I didn't know that I was supposed to stick to the rules. I didn't even pay attention. How about I didn't even pay attention to what they stamped? So they said 30 days. In my mind, I was like, okay, I should entered London. I think I was to stay for like 45 days. When I was now leaving, they asked me, why did you overstay? I said, did I overstay? And sorry, I didn't. They gave them some BS excuse, though. I don't remember what it was I said. But when I wanted to come back, my eyes saw Wayne. For lack of a better word. All my lessons I learned the hard way. The very hard way. Meaning that it happened to me. This one is not even a story. It happened to me. But I eventually, sorry, so you were asking, I eventually left. I found a woman. How did I what? I can't hear you. Oh, how did I settle it? Well, I had an uncle who lived in America. He actually came to America when we were in America, and he had stayed there since then. However, things were a little shaky for him at that point in time. I didn't know what his plans were, but he was the person I was supposed to go and meet in America. When I got to America, I think I'd only been there for like a month. He said he was leaving. I'm like, where are you going? He said he missed his mother. He was going home. So basically, it was either a month or two. He left. And so I was in America by myself. Wow. Nobody that I knew. And I wasn't even an apartment. I was in a room with an older, because he lived in a room. So we were together. We were sharing his room in somebody else's house, not even an apartment. So this is me now saying to myself, how the heck am I going to get out of here? The story that was in King's Road about me waitressing, when I was waitressing and I met my future landlord, was from moving from that apartment into this. I didn't have any credit. I didn't have anything. It was just my personality, literally.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That's a very inspiring story, because when you're on your own,
is yourself. Is yourself. It was like, so it was tough. And that's why, yeah, you have exactly. And so when people ask me, wow, you've been through so much, I have. But then you look back on it, and then if you can, and I don't forget any of it. So when you look back on that, you're like, oh, this one is minor. This one is easy. I still have, there are now people, there's work, I can work, I have credit. I'll be all right. Because imagine if you're coming at 22 and you're in, I'm looking at like, Charles, you people have, you're enjoying. By that point in time, I had a clown job, a waitressing job. I was hustling my butt off. But it just gives you an appreciation for where you are now and why nothing really shakes me. And then people are like, okay, why are you not stressed? Like, this one's not stressed. This one's not stressed at all. Because you've been, and I say this to people all the time, not to be mad at your past, but to hold on to your past and allow that to empower you. You could get through that. You can get through anything else that's coming. For my mistakes. And that's one of the things that I think that for each and every one of us, we don't do enough of that. You want to skip by it so quickly, but you don't realize that there's something you need to learn as well. Mm-hmm. And so from each of my situations, and I literally mean everything, I am literally always checking myself. Even till now, I'm always checking myself. And I think that if you check yourself, nobody else can. What's somebody else going to tell me that's going to hurt? That's why I'm like, when people can say, they can say whatever they want. If it's true, I'll think about it. Well, is that something? It's not them. it's irrelevant, because I'm checking myself.
Okay, what about partnerships? So have you done any partnerships with anyone, and how have you managed partnerships so far, if you have?
I have not. And my partner, the reason why I haven't had the cause to do it is because in personal shopping, there's just no requirement for that right now. Would I do a partnership? Yeah, as long as, but again, it depends on which friend, who do I want to do that with. You have to know the people's personality. You shouldn't come, I think you should know who you're getting into business with. Does that person have the same passion as you? Is that person going to be a silent partner and is only bringing money? What you need to discuss it and hash it all out, everything out before you get into a partnership with anyone. Also, even with all the hashing out, also leave room for all of the unexpected things that might come up too, because there are some things that could come up that you have not planned for. So you have to put all of that into perspective. But no, I haven't, back to your question, I haven't done any partnerships like that, no.
Okay, so we're going to open the floor for questions from the audience. You guys can put your questions in the little question mark, and then I'll just read it out to her. Just start putting the questions there from now, and then I'll take them up and and start asking her
If
questions.
they have, do you have the question box doesn't come up on your when you're two people? It doesn't come up on your side.
It does. It comes up on the
Okay.
screen. So once it comes
Okay.
up, I'll just click on it so that you can also see the questions as well.
Sure. How old are your kids?
4, 5, and 3. But
how are you finding it?
Oh, it's crazy.
Are you ready for it?
Especially
See,
in
there
the
we go back to,
lockdown.
are you ready for it though? Have you read up on the various stages and what to expect and all of that stuff? No.
I don't think I read up on that.
And that's the thing. That just on that topic alone, that's something that hurts a lot of women. They're totally unaware. So if you're aware, this is the thing that has helped me in when people always ask like, "Oh, how did we get this relationship?" I was reading while I was pregnant. I was reading up to teens because I like, okay, let me start planning. Let me start planning for how I'm going to figure this out. And so as he was hitting each of these benchmarks, I was ahead of the game. I was ready.
No, I think I read up until 1 year old, and then
That's
after
the
1 year
thing.
old, you're just like, oh, okay.
I read everything. I read everything. Wow. I'm learning. I say it now that I'm learning the kind of mother-in-law I want to be. I'm learning now, even though I'm like 10 years away.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. It's good to be prepared, and I think
it is. If you're prepared, it doesn't surprise you.
Yeah, so you're not surprised because
exactly.
Like,
that's the thing. I would rather be prepared than surprised. So because I know that when that time comes, when I was reading all of this, I was pregnant. But it let me shape, okay, this is how I would, the kind of mom I want to be. This is what I want to do. This is how, okay, they need to be entertained. Okay, what am I going to do to keep him entertained? One, I wanted to be independent, so I got a playpen. He was in his playpen for his own time. Then we would play with him. We'll bring him out. Okay, I was very ethical. So, and like it or not, that's when at this age is when you set the foundation for the kind of individuals that they're going to be growing up. People feel like, oh, I'll get to them in the teens. But by the teens, they've already formed these opinions. When you could have been there on when they're so young and they're looking up to you with dewy eyes, that's when you need to put some of the things that you need to put in so that you are that person that they come to. But it's a lot, I know.
It's not easy. It's especially in this COVID era when everyone is at home. You have to do everything with them.
One of the things that I would say might help is just letting them know what's coming. They like structure a lot. I know that even when my nephews used to come around, I would tell them from the beginning of the day, they will sign contracts. They knew what was coming. Okay, Auntie Remi, we said that we're having pancakes this morning and we're going to the park and then we have to go with you to the stores. They were the most well-behaved kids in Louboutin, this one. They were like, your nephew's coming. They will sit quietly. The rule was, if you don't sit quietly, no ice cream. It's very simple. And I was the queen of finding interesting places to take them. And then I would also apportion their time. You get 2 hours in the park. I'll carry my book. You go and do your own thing. So it was a give or take. You behave well for Auntie Remi, you get to go to the park and you get ice cream or you get everything, whatever it is, we would negotiate. Like, okay, but I have to do this amount of work. When I finish my work, then we can go and do it. Okay. So they would always behave, but I've always treated kids like little people in their own, whatever age, we would figure it out. You want to read a story. For the one story, you have to sit down quietly for this amount of time. Then I will read you the story.
Wow. Okay, I can see a question here. Someone is saying, how did you balance work, marriage, and kids?
I was literally just talking about it. It's the same thing. But also realizing that in marriage, you can't, as a woman, you cannot afford to let yourself go. That one is number one. Because the better you feel about yourself, the more your self-esteem will grow. The less you take, but mind you, in the midst of everything that you're balancing, guess what is the first to go? Yourself. You will work on the kids, you will do the work, you will not let yourself go. So the point is, you cannot let yourself go. Don't forget you in the mix of all these other things. You, family, kids, figure it all out. I am 47 this year. I sometimes forget my own age. 47 this year.
Wow. Oh my God. And look at how good you look. You don't even look past 30 actually.
I am old.
Considering everything you've also been through.
Yeah, yeah, but as I said, but even with that, and then they had also told me early on that my uncle, my dad, they all had hypertension by 40. So I was always like, that's not going to be me. Let me work on making sure that that is not going to be my story. So anything that I need to think about, if I'm thinking about anything, is because I'm thinking about what is it that I want to do. Anything that I cannot control, I don't think about at all. So I can't control it. COVID times, I check the news. Are we free? We are not free. Okay, what am I doing today? Moving on. The rest, I can't do anything about it. So what's the point of me stressing over it?
Wow.
So for work, for the girl, it's figuring out, compartmentalizing. The thing about it is you have to realize that once you get married, everything changes for the woman. It doesn't really change for guys. It doesn't. They are still going to go. They're still going to do their own thing. They're still going to. If was going to marriage, what did she say? I didn't see that.
So let me read it out. Is it possible to go into marriage prepared to solve any issue or challenge? Because I feel that it is an institution where you learn as marriage progresses.
I think that my question is this: is it possible to go into the marriage prepared to solve any issue? I think that it really depends on you and the individual and the terms in which you got married, because people are getting married for different reasons these days. You can't get married and think of it as a business transaction and then expect it to be a loving one somewhere down the line. You started as a business transaction. You can't get love out of a business transaction. It's kind of hard to do that. So again, your marriage is depending on what. Yeah, I get a lot of people that come and that ask me this question. Okay, how did you guys get to where you are? Remember, I was looking for something different. I did not want anybody that was going to control me. I didn't want anybody I was even running from rich. I know that sounds daft, but I was running from rich men. So my husband was not rich. I was like, hey, I don't want anybody that's going to, in my mind, weird, retarded thinking. But my thinking back then was, if you were rich, you were controlling. So I used to run from rich. I'm like, no, I don't want anybody that's going to control me. So I look at it now like, you were so stupid though. That is not true. But that was what I carried in my head from when I was growing up. And what advice would I give my 18-year-old self? That you need to be smarter. But that's another story. I think that you need to just, again, as a woman, you need to find yourself before you marry. You need to find yourself before you marry. I knew when I used to say that I was not going to marry, it was because I used to think that what I was looking for, I would never be able to find. So when I met my husband, it was not as if, I had planned a whole wedding. No, I used to tell my dad to his face that I would never marry because I don't want to, the marriage that you are showing me is not anything I feel is possible for me to, I don't want, basically. And he used to be like, well, you outgrow it, Jerry. You know, he's a man. So his way of dealing with it is brushing it aside. He never really addressed it. But I used to say to him all the time that I would never get married. I used to tell him, I always knew I loved kids though. So I said I would get a sperm donor. That was my my friends could tell you that that was always a good idea. They used to look at me like I was crazy. That why do you want the sperm donor? I said I want kids, but I don't want the stress of dealing with a man. And then I now meet him, and he's like, oh, he's different. So there are other people that are not like all the people that I've been meeting. Interesting. But I literally knew the same day I met him that I was going to marry him. He did not know until he didn't know. But it took him a while, but I knew that day. And I called all my friends and they were like, did they use jazz to slap you? How did you go from sperm donor to your farm man you want to marry? Are you okay? They still make fun of me till today.
So what kind of characteristics did you see in your husband for you to actually make that decision? So what were the things you were looking for?
Well, remember, I was a lot more naive then. All I had was these amazing group of friends. Friends have been really important to me. So all I was looking for was, and my friends accepted me the way I was. My friends did not try to change me. They understood me. But I was not attracted to any of my friends, obviously. So I used to think to myself that, okay, I don't know whether I'm ever going to find somebody that's going to be like similar to my friends that I was attracted to. But I ended up finding that with him. So one, he was cute. I was always partial to cute guys. So he was cute. He was honest. I asked him like the weirdest question, like, okay, so how many people are you sleeping with? And he was like, 3. Why do you want to know? So, but my point was like, you're actually going to tell me. Most people would lie. What I took from that is that you are actually honest. What other people would take is like, okay, bye, be going, bye. So he said, I have 3, or whether he said 4, I can't remember, but he said what he had, and he said, hey, are you joining? So my point is, our rapport, what rapport you see, is the rapport that we've had from the beginning. I talk. So quiet does not necessarily work for me. So we were talking for 3 hours straight, back and forth. And in my mind, it was like, wow. Like, I didn't think there would be anybody that I would have both a flirty conversation and an honest conversation. And I was asking him about what is he going to do for the next 5 years, 10 years. He's like, wait, what? But he answered. And because that was the way I was thinking then, like, anybody that wants to go back to Nigeria, I cannot be with you, because in my mind then, 20 years ago, I've grown. 20 years ago, I was saying like, my mother went to Nigeria. That's how our marriage ended. I cannot go there. In my mind. Now I've learned better. I can live anywhere. But it really depends on your connection to the person. It's your connection that determines a lot. And it's you knowing the person that determines where the relationship and how the relationship grows, where his weaknesses or your strengths, your weaknesses, all of that plays into your marriage. And you have to know these various things. So it wasn't as black and white as I thought it was when I was growing up. So what else did I ask? That his honesty was one. He was a talker. He was not shy. I didn't intimidate him. Another one. There's some people that the minute they see you, they're already talking about, okay, you have to change this, and this. That usually when people start like, okay, why is your hair red? I used to have red hair. I had a tongue ring. I was dressing very, very sexy at that point. So it was like, most people are like, you should you should bring it down. And it was like, he was like, okay, this is exactly the kind of person I like. Now I've changed, but I changed because I got older. Literally, he never asked me to change. The tongue ring came out when I got pregnant, because then you needed to take out all your piercings, and I just never got it back. I'm like, it chipped my tooth anyway. So I was like, okay, it's enough. So you know what I mean? Like, you just get to a certain point that you're over certain things. Not because I was asked to do it. It was just because literally I'm now a mom. I'm like, okay, I don't need the one on my tongue. Maybe I'll keep some of the other ones. But you know what I mean? Like, I grew up, basically. Yeah, you're right. I just grew up, and it was no longer relevant. I got rid of all of those clothes because I'm like, I can't seem. I didn't want to be like trailer trash in a bra top, carrying my, like, ugh, I know that was working for when I had that body, I could rock it. But as I got older, I'm like, I don't want to be somebody's mom and I'm holding my son and I'm wearing booty shorts and a and a bra top because I had that kind of a body then. It just wouldn't work. And so I feel like you have to be with somebody that's going to let you, and we both have. He had 2 earrings. So my point is that we were both very different, but we're both perfect for each other. A lot of women hide who they are, and I never did. So instead of me hiding, I was like, okay, this is who I am. You got to take it or leave it. It's literally, that's it. Did that mean, yes, we had an attraction for each other, but we also came with so much baggage of our own. He came with his, and I came with mine. I had a chip on my shoulder, and every 2 seconds, it was like, hey. Just because I love you doesn't mean you can. I look at myself now, I laugh at myself because there were some things I did like, I cannot believe that I was that naive or that I was that childish. I used to keep my list like it was no man's business. A month, we are not talking, we are not sexing, and I'm not cooking for you. I don't even know why I'm angry, sir, but I was angry. And like it or not, you just, as I said, you grow up and you learn. And that's why I say that, marriage is not perfect. It's never meant to be perfect, but it's meant for you're going to evolve and learn about yourself. But you also got to be critical about yourself too, and about your spouse. And you both have to come to terms to what is going to work for both of you. And we have through it all. I was
fantastic. I love that. Both of you were very real to each other from the beginning.
And me from the beginning, he was him. It takes men. That's another thing you have to understand about men. Is it takes them a while. It took him a while to agree. Recently, he said one random comment that if he had me as a mother, he would be different. I said, wait, what did you say? I said, is that the criticism? I guess he said, no, just saying that, hey, this is your own type of mother. If I had you the way Charles has you and you're directing this one, that his life would have been different. I said, interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, someone else is asking that, or saying that my mom told me not to marry, that people don't marry for love anymore. Is this true?
I don't think so. I think that, I don't know, how old is your mom? Like, that's the first thing I was like, how old is her mom? But no, I don't think so. I think that if you don't marry for love, here's the part that people don't understand. If you don't marry for love, if you say you marry for money, you will get the money and then you will now wish you had more. I know many people that have money, you can buy everything, but are they happy? No.
Yeah.
So you can say that that's what you do. You can go for marriage, you can go for political connection. If that is enough to sustain you, it all depends on the person. If you're not the kind of person that love, because there's some people that love they're not touchy-feely, romantic, they're not any of that. It all depends on the person's personality. If you're very like that and you don't need that, then it could work for you. It all depends, because there's some people that all this one I'm doing is they don't want the lovey-dovey, they don't want all of that. And if you don't want it and that's not what you need, then hey, you don't need love. But for me, it was important because I felt like I'm a romantic. I like cuddles, I like love, I like all of that stuff. So that was what was important for me. I also know that I'm a hard worker. So I was never looking for somebody with money because I knew I would make my own. But I also learned from so many other situations growing up that you can't just make your own money and not set things up for the other person, because if you are constantly making it, that same money you are making will cause resentment. A man has to have his own purpose too. A lot of them, remember, I just talked about their mothers. A lot of them were not raised with purpose. So how would they have purpose when there was nobody to facilitate? So I hear girls these days, I'm not your mother. I'm like, hello. Some of these mothers that were mothers didn't quite, no criticism, but they didn't quite set them up in a way whereby they're thinking about, okay, how are you going to provide? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? And sometimes it's us that's coming along and saying like, okay, dude, what's going on? Mind you, I say it now that I know that there's a lot of work that we still have to do with Charles. I am planning on doing it with his wife. We will both be working on it together. Me in the back. I will be working, me and the wife, but I'm not going to get into their marriage. Because I'm waiting for my daughter to arrive. That's the way I look at whoever he brings. And then when she comes, I will be like, hey, so what do we need to work on him today? He's not perfect. He's never been a father before. He's never been a husband before. So there's still learning that needs to go in that. Most of these mothers are not looking at the fact that their sons still need to be taught how to be husbands and fathers and a whole bunch of stuff. There's no manual. Yeah. So there's a whole lot that comes in it, and nobody's thinking of that. They're thinking about, okay, you're taking my son, you're shaking the con, you're doing this. So the dynamics is a little different. For me, love is important, which is why I would not choose for my son who he's going to marry. I can't force him to love somebody. He needs to go and choose himself. Whoever he brings, whatever she looks like, whatever nationality, I will take her, because I am not the one to put who he's going to sleep with in bed with him. That's not my call to make. He's the one that has to go. But I should have done my work now, which is what I've done on looking and knowing what to see. It's not all about boobs, tits, and ass. It's not all her hair. It has to be deeper. And he already knows that now. So then he will not go out and he will not figure it out. I will sit here and he will bring her back, and the two of us will work on him together. So my grandchildren can be complete. But I'm not working against her.
Yeah. I know you have an amazing son. Did you and your husband decide that you wanted to have one baby?
Yeah, well, we go back to my mom again. My mom had 5 kids, and I always felt that she didn't really have much choice with her 5. Where are you going with 5? How can you even say you want to make any kind of stand with 5? You're literally stuck. Which one do you take? The first, the last, the middle? How will you cope? So for me, I was like, yeah. And then she was still trying to have more, because my grandmother was asking it of her, and she too was asked. So I was like, yeah, that's not gonna be me. I'm not a cow. So I'm sorry. If it is child you think you're marrying me for, I am not doing. But I also realized as I got pregnant, I said that I didn't want somebody that wanted me just to have a child. That was one. I wanted it to be that, okay, it was a product of our love. And that literally was what Charles was. So, but while I was pregnant, I did not enjoy being pregnant at all. I took a big picture for him and I was like, okay, enjoy this while it lasts. I want you to take this. I know you were loved. We didn't plan it, but it was not a surprise, so to speak. We were like, if we get pregnant, great. If we didn't get pregnant, we weren't trying, but we were ready for if it were to happen. So, and then when it did happen, I was miserable. Not because of him, but I was sick from day one till I pushed him out. So I was like, I'm not doing this again. I don't care what anybody says. The next one will be different, blah, blah, blah. As of that point in time, I was like, no, sorry. Yeah. This is all I can cope with. And then I also looked at the back of my mind, like, I don't know where we are going. I don't want to be stuck anywhere. One, I can carry, where I would never have to call you for anything. That's me. That's the way I used to think back then. Like, okay, if you like misbehave, I'll carry my child. Should be one. You'll be able to cope with. I've obviously gotten a little wiser now. But my point is, I could have done one more if I know what I know, if I knew what I know now, I would have done one more, like back to back, and just pushed through the 2 years of pain just to make sure that there was one more. Because there's some things that I look at that Charles just has never done. He's never shared a bathroom. He's never, just little things that you don't think about it and like, oh wow. So I said that when he goes to college, he's going to have a roommate. Even if they say no roommate, you must have roommates, because you're going to be hard to, you're going to be really hard to live with because you're not used to it. And these are things that other people that have had siblings have been doing all their life.
Yeah. Wow.
So just little things that I've noticed. Remember I said I'm always checking myself. Me up then didn't look at all of this. You know what I mean? People were just like, you need to have one more. I'm like, why? I don't understand. Why do I need to have one more? One is enough now. So yeah. Wow. So when I decided on all of that, my husband did say he wanted more, but I was like, to do what? So I worked on him, and then he finally agreed, and then now he says it's a good thing we only had one.
Oh, I love how you stay with your decisions and you make your decisions, and you don't let anyone, change your decisions or make you feel bad for any decision that you take. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has your experience.
It's the one, exactly. It was my choice and my mistake as well to make. It was it's not, and that's, I think, a lot of people don't own their mistakes. Okay, we had a fight. Okay, this is what I did wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see it like that. That's not what I meant. So where's the fight there now? Have we not finished it? Like, what's the problem? Like, and I don't feel that, and I think that that's the same thing with everything else. You've got to be able to know what you did that was right and know what you did that was wrong. You are human. I am human. So I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, but and I'm still saying this to today, I am still learning. So if I made a mistake, I will tell you, fact, I made a mistake. Okay, you want to come and kill me? Hey, cool. It's not me that's suffering, it's you. Yeah, okay, you're still holding on to it. Okay, good luck.
Wow. Someone else is asking here, how has raising a son been for you? As a mom of 3 boys, it's not the easiest. Can you recommend some books to read? I think someone else asked at the top as well.
I know. I didn't. Funny enough, I didn't have books. It was more like I was on, I know this sounds weird, every parenting magazine. I did all my studying. People are going to find this hard to believe, but I had all this. I was reading a comment about the malice. Don't mind me. I don't know how we ended it though. We were shot there we'll be there for a while. Then one day it ends. I don't know why I would finally end it, but we shall end one day. I stopped that whole malice situation after a while when I realized it was not paying my life. I was on a lot of chat rooms because back then when I was pregnant with Charles, I couldn't really do very much. So I was literally in chat rooms asking questions about everything, but I didn't stay in the area that I was supposed to stay in, which would have been newborn and pregnant or childbirth, delivery. I was everywhere. So I was in this room reading everything that these people were writing. Okay, they should do this, they should do that. But basically a lot of what I am doing, or what I did with Charles, was from my childhood, growing up and not feeling loved and not feeling connected to my family, I was really connected to my siblings, and I spoke to my dad a lot. So I had this fearless attitude. There's nobody I can't talk to. Even God came down, I would have questions. So I've always been like that, because even if I knew I was going to be beaten, I would still go and ask the question. that was always me. But I wanted my son to have that same attitude, but without the bad parts, meaning I didn't want him to feel any sense of fear, but I also wanted him to have a level of respect for us as parents. And so from the very beginning, he's always had structure. And structure is what has worked for me from literally from birth. Charles was one of those people that had everything was on a schedule. His diaper was changed on schedule. His bottle, he did not cry. So because I was that particular. I have a friend that used to make fun of when Charles would be in Nigeria. They'd be like, "Wait, what happened? Why is he sitting in one place?" He had rules. He knows that, okay, mom, whenever I enter a store, I have to sit still. But back then, I never gave him his iPad in the house. I always had activities for him to do, meaning he was coloring, he was doing puzzles, everything but the electronics. So then when we would go out, it was all about the electronics. So I did that for the longest, whereby he knew what he needed to do. And that's kind of what has moved into as he's gotten older. And I've always, another thing for the person with 3 kids, keep your kids busy. Kids that are busy do not have time to get into, because they're so busy trying to find time to sleep. So Charles got into swimming. He barely has time to do anything else. So let them find, when they're still young, let them find things that they love. There's countless sports. Yes, it is time consuming, but it will pay you in the long run, because they need to have the outlet. They need to have something that they're doing that will keep them busy, that they love. Because when you can train, when they get older, that's what's going to save you.
Fantastic. Okay, so someone else is asking, let's say a husband doesn't support his wife and she wants to go further in her career and he doesn't want that. How do you deal with that?
See, the thing about it is I don't understand where these, remember, these are questions I asked from the beginning. I don't know how you got to this point that you're just finding out about that now. Do you understand? Like, these are the kind of questions you need to ask when you're dating, to be honest. Those were questions I asked, like, so what do you think about this? What do you think about, are you planning on leaving Nigeria? What do you think about women working? Do you know what I mean? Like, these are all questions, because I know people that are like that. And I was like, I cannot just sit down at home. I knew people that would tell me that they cannot marry anybody that wants to work, that she wants to sit at home. I literally had this conversation with Charles, and I'm like, you need to figure out whether you want, because there are girls that are okay with that. All they're gonna do is go be pretty, go to the spa. There's a guy that is all he's looking for. You need to make sure you find your people.
But you know what I think is, there's some people that say, oh, I want my wife to work, or oh, I want my wife to be a go-getter and all of that. But when you're actually in the situation, they can't handle it.
There are more questions. There's a reason why I say that. There are more questions, even when somebody, and this is something you need to understand about guys. A woman, if you ask a woman a question, she has thought of it. We are faster in our thinking. So we've thought of it every which way. If I say I'm going to do something for you on Monday, I have literally scanned through my entire day, blah, 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 blah. My husband will tell you he will do it on Monday, but he has not thought of the whole entire Monday. Then he will not come, oh, snap, I forgot this, I forgot that, I forgot this. So it's not that it's just that when it comes to men, you need to pin down and understand that the first word they said is not necessarily the truth of the matter. Dig a little deeper. Do you understand? So that is what I found when dealing, and that's where we women, remember we say that men are from one planet, we are from another. That's the key of it. Woman will say, this is how I want to do something. We will literally stick to that. Then the guys were, well, you know, I wasn't sure. Then this one, then that was. So that's why I say that you need to also understand the man you're dealing with. That kind of guy has pretty much always been that way. Listen to the things that he says. This is where dating is so important. Because if you didn't do the dating, you need to watch exactly that. They cannot multitask at all. And they have said it and they've forgotten it. They said it and they forgot, literally. My husband said, okay, don't worry, I will follow you to America. And I'm like, okay. Back in the day, I used to be the kind of person that you told me A, I will hold you to that A. Now, as I got a little further along in time, if he tells me A, I know it's not A. It must be B, E, and F. Then he will finally get to the A, but it's never beginning as an A. Babe, I will give you the money back. He will not remember you to give you the money back. So you better shine your eye well.
Wow. It's just good to know who you're dealing with.
It is, which is where we go back to understanding yourself. and understanding. If my husband is asking me for money, I think I was making fun of him the other day. Do you know how many times he has taken me to lunch and he's like, hey, just pay now, I will pay you back. No, hey, don't ask me. I'm like, for money that you told me to give you. So me too, I got smarter. He was like, hey babe, you know I forgot. And he is forgetful, and I get it. He's very forgetful. So he would not say, hey, but you shall know we are going to lunch. He's the one inviting me to lunch. You invited me to go to lunch, then you now forgot your wallet. Zelling me the money. Zelling means that send it electronically. Send me the money, then I will help you pay. But me say, I need to, I now stop carrying my bag. Babe, you didn't carry your bag. You too, you carry your own now. But there's no fight. There's no fight. You know who you are dealing with. Oh, nowadays we will remind him. Over time, you get to realize. Back in the day, we used to fight over this thing. Like, I don't understand. You're not giving me my money because he just, not that he doesn't care or doesn't plan to, but in the scope of everything else, his wife is just, I will get back to it. I will get back to it. Just never get back. You'll be there 2, 3, 4 years. Let it not be their own money. If it's his own money, you bought me on my card, your client something, you have not transferred it. I'm looking at him like, mother effort, is that what? It just is the way it is.
I love how honest you are, man. Because trust me, these are things that can actually cause issues in.
Absolutely. We used to fight over these things. We used to fight over these things for years, and then I realized that, you know what? I can't come and kill myself. I need to modify. And I did. I have found a way. There's no fight. When he has his moods, I just want to leave him. I carry book. Then he will come back. Babe, are we fighting? Are you back? Me, I'm not fighting you.
Wow. I love it.
How do you make income as a personal shopper? Or how do you get your clients? When I first started, I did a lot of PR work. I hired Bobby Taylor to do my PR work and do introductions for me in Nigeria. So I used to do a lot of TV, magazines, and the whole 9 yards. If you're starting any business, you need to get a PR person. And again, this is another one that I learned the hard way. I used to rely on my friends. Oh, my friends should do this introduction. It doesn't work. I mean, it's not like it doesn't work, but it puts so much pressure on your friends to do the work for you. So I stopped doing that. And literally one of my friends, my long-term friends, I realized that I was putting in an insane amount of pressure on her. And I didn't like it. And I realized, and this is why I go back to saying that that's why I said that I go back and I was always checking myself. She was in London and I would be taking things to London like, okay, my friend is going to organize. And so there was one particular day that I had gone, I paid for my ticket, my sister's ticket. We had taken 4 suitcases of clothes. There was nobody there. And I was so upset. That was an insane amount of money that I put together, but there was nobody there. But then I realized I was upset initially. And then I realized, Remi, that's not her responsibility. It literally is not. It's not her job to, you know what I mean? It's not her job to bring clients for me. She's my friend. I can't put that responsibility on her. And so from there, I'm like, okay, so if you don't use the first, what's it? And I did my research and I realized that, okay, you know what? Do your PR work. So I did my PR work, and that was how I started. Well, initially meeting clients when I first started going out. Other than that, it was networking. My first celebrity client was an NFL player, but how did I meet him? Long story short, remember I said I talked to anybody. We were both, me and I was living in this particular building complex, and I had come in multiple times, and this girl was coming in the same time as me. So I was like, where are you coming from? And she would tell me the club she was coming from. I'm like, I'm just coming from dinner. It's like, we should come together instead of driving 2 cars. Why don't we drive 1 car? And I was like, cool. That was how we started talking. She then says, what do you do? I said, I told her what I did. She was an event planner. I was a stylist. She's like, I might know somebody for you that'll get you this. Literally conversations. So she introduced me to Denrick, what's Derek? So what is Denrick's job? He does PR for NFL for a lot of athletes. Met up with him for drinks. And he's like, while we were talking, Larry now calls him like, I need a stylist for this BET event. And he's like, I'm sitting with the stylist right now. And it's like, word, blah, blah. So he's like, get him my number. I'm going to be in town on Thursday. Have you done it before? Of course, Nigeria. I said, I've done it. I've never done it though. But I said I had done it. And then I now text the person like, okay, how much do I charge? And then I said, okay, charge this amount. So I added a little so I could hit him. I'm still a Niger person. So I was like, okay, let me add a little so I can hit him off with something later and take it from there. He came, we were supposed to do one job. And then instead of it being one job, well, I remember they have money. So I was introducing him to a bunch of different things. I said, you should try this. You have a good body. You need to get over the oversized look. I've always been fearless. So where he has this hard look, I'm like, I'm not looking at your face. This job you told me to do. Come and wear this. And I don't flirt. So yes, you can be fine, but I'm not looking at your fineness. Come, wear clothes. That's if you like be naked, I don't care. Wear clothes. This one is the guy you should wear. And he'd be like, okay, this one's bossy. But he listened, he did what he had to do, and I thought the job was done. I was waiting for the pictures to come out. And then he says, I get a midnight text saying, oh my God, this shit is fly. I need more stuff like this in my closet. And I'm like, which one is he talking about? It must have been the extra stuff that I said he should get because it wasn't the date for that event yet. So I said, you need me to, of course, me, I've always been fast. So I said, you need me to take care of your entire closet. He said, yeah, how much is that going to cost? I come up with a monthly fee. He said, done. I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, what? He's like, done. I'm like, okay, but you need to fly me out to check out your closet. He's like, start from scratch.
Wow.
That was 3 years of work. Everybody he dated, everybody. Weddings, gifts, family, everything. I did all of his shopping for 3 years straight. What did I learn from doing that? I did not network during that period with him. I didn't go with him anywhere. I didn't, where I should have, I didn't. I styled in for a Jay-Z video. I didn't go. I was casually looking at, oh my God, that's you in the Rock Boys. And we were talking about it. I'm like, I should have been there. I didn't know the beauty or the strength of the network. I was like, oh, I got one client thinking that was enough. Of course, NFL players, it ends. So it ended. And then this is me not scratching my head like, wait, okay, what's going to happen now? Because I did not network. So as I said, all of my lessons, I learned them the hard way. By that time, I had quit my full-time job. So it was now just him. And so this is me now looking around like, oh, snap, I made a mistake. I should have networked. I should have built on that, but I didn't. So that's why now it seems like I know everybody. There's no pressure on any one person. And if one person doesn't do it, it's okay. There's like 50 million other people. So I don't focus on one person anymore. Neither do I put all my eggs in one basket and say, okay, this one person is my friend and this person is going to do it. Friendship separate, business separate. Some people think it's that you're too harsh on it, but I also say to them when they're saying I'm too harsh, I'm like, I'm not coming to meet you to borrow money. I'm not coming. This is my business. If you're supporting the business, let's do the business. This is what you're buying, buy. And that's it.
Wow. Fantastic. Okay, let me bring up the next question. That was really inspiring. I love that you stressed on the networking part because
networking has been now mind you,
networking is continuous.
It doesn't end. Even up to now, when they say, okay, how did you meet this person, somebody will bring, I'm always open to meeting anybody. Okay, fine, you're coming over, no problem, you're in town. No, even till date, I know many people will say that, oh, I'm in town on Monday. Sure, if I can make it, I can. If I can't, I'm assuming you know me well enough to know that if I say I can't, I can't. Because I'm very straightforward. I don't do BS. If I can do it, I can. If I say I can't do it, I can't do it. And I'm not losing any sleep over it because I feel like I'm very upfront and straightforward with how I deal with everybody. But I don't also feel like everybody's going to be a business client either. You know what I mean? I feel I like people. So, and I learn from people. So because I have a natural love and learning of people and I'm always helping, people have just been always helpful to me too. Oh, I have a client for you. Oh, really? Thank you so much. I do not ask for. If you're telling people about yourself and you're figuring out how to help them, what do you think is going to happen next? They will be thinking of how they can help you too. That's just the way the world works. You know, so I'm never looking at somebody as a dollar sign. I'm only looking at them like, oh, you're interesting. Of course, I got to, then there's a book I read, Never Eat Alone. If I can, I try not to. So if I'm always talking, sharing tea, coffee, whatever with somebody, I learn.
What you said is very important because when you see someone, you never ever know what the person can, bring to your table.
As I said, my first girl was, we were coming in from, look at us, we were literally just driving in and we're like, let us cut costs on driving 2 cars. Let's drive 1 car.
Yeah.
And look at what came from that.
And see, something happened earlier today. So I went somewhere and someone was asking me, oh, so who am I hosting today? And I was like, oh, one amazing lady. She's a luxury personal shopper. And so the person was like, "Oh, okay, my mom-in-law's birthday is coming up soon, and you know we're looking for a personal shopper." And I was like, "Ah, okay."
Can you imagine?
You know, it just happens like that.
It just happens, literally.
You never ever know. So I'll disturb them so that they can holler at you.
Thank you. But that's literally life. Literally, yes. It's not when people ask, "What's the advice do you have for building a new network?" Put yourself out there. Go to things that speak to your heart. If I were to go to, let's say I were to go to a new place today, I love kids, I love fashion, I love volunteer charity work, and I love to dance. So any of those 4 things are things that I would end up finding in that new location. And while I'm there, I would end up finding people that are also, and I would talk. I don't force anything. I've never been the forceful type of person. It's literally as organic as that. From meeting my husband on the plane to all of them have been organic. They just kind of sort of happen. Oh, you brought this person to my house. Cool. Oh, we met in a store. Cool. On the streets, the elevator, it's just, that's it. Well, swim practice. Okay, your child goes there. My child goes there. I've seen you 3 times. I've seen you 3 times. What's your story? Literally, because I just have an interest with people.
Yeah, same as me actually.
What advice do you have? Go ahead.
What advice do you give young or married women to look out for in a man or a spouse? And what do you do to unwind? That's an important one.
To unwind. I'm mental. I'm mental. I say I want to unwind, I unwind. Literally, I don't drink. So, yeah, I literally am a mental person. Okay, I am not doing anything, and that's literally it. I just don't. I love everything. I love the pool. I love the beach. But I'm also the kind of person that I also modify whatever I'm doing to my surroundings. Like, I am in the house, we can't leave. That means that I'm just going to go stay in bed. Or I'm going to soak in the tub. Or I'm going to do, it depends. I modify whatever it is to cool myself down or to wig out. It might be going through my albums. I like pictures. I've always loved pictures. I have hardcore albums. So it might be, I will sit down on the floor. I go through albums, I crack myself up. Then that amuses me and that makes me unwind because it shows, for me, it shows how far I've come. I find that amusing and that relaxes me and it makes me look to the future like, oh, well, man, please. Everything else is easy after this. That's what I still look at. So nothing really stresses me per se because I look at it that life is supposed to be this way. It's supposed to go from up and it can't just be one straight way. It's going to change whether you like it or not. If you're a young woman, I really, 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 really think you need to find yourself. I think you need to take the time to get to know yourself. If you get to know yourself, you will know what you want in a guy. It's easy for me to say what I want, but remember, my personality is like a 15. So if I give you what I was looking for, my own husband, I've said it to many people, that my husband will drive you nuts. I am the only, he himself says it, that if I wasn't the kind of hard person I am, I would not be able to handle him. And it's the truth. We work together, I could give you the list. It may not be the right one for you. And literally, that's the God's honest truth. So it's not a matter of me telling you a list. I would tell you to get to know yourself because your list is going to be different from my list because we are different people. My guy will not work for everybody. I will be very honest with you. He will drive you nuts. And that's just because my personality works for his. So if he likes, he can be one way today. Where he wants to dance bingo, and we would dance together. He wants to do disco tomorrow. We do disco. It does not affect me in any way. I'll be like, okay, are you ready? Okay, you're not ready. I'll leave you alone. It's okay. But don't let it say the person that says it's confusing. Don't let it confuse you. Now you get why I'm saying you have to know who you are. Don't let a man shake you like this. Hold yourself well and be like, okay, you have started. Leave him alone. Compartmentalize.
Yeah, and that's what men do actually. Men compartmentalize a lot as well, and that's why they can.
No, they're not. Men are not that deep. Sorry, no, they're not that deep. No, I'm not being funny. Let me give you a very good example. Everybody said I interrupted my husband at the last video we did. I was trying to get him to say all the way from blah blah. he has gone to the end. I'm like, but there were so many things that happened in the middle. They're not that deep. You know, which guy is going to ask his fellow guy, how did you meet the girl? They don't care. It's just like, you have met the man. How far? You met this girl? Yes, so, and that's the end. A woman will say, oh my God, how did you meet? She wants to hear every detail. That's not how guys are. They don't care. They're not that deep. So I was trying, when people are like, oh, you're interrupting, I think people are very daft. But I didn't say it like that, child. But I was like, you guys don't understand that if I didn't put it through, I'm not paid. Paid care. How would I be paid? What's my what is paying me? This is somebody I've been with for 20 years. What will be paying me? I already know better than he knows himself. There's no pain anywhere. That is me. I'm very dramatic about everything. We'll be talking about the weather. It will be the same way. I've been like this. You must have just logged on. Yeah. And I'm passionate about everything from my child to fashion to this is me all the way through. Husband, this, that, books, house, everything. But this is me with all I do. It's not defined by him, but I understand him. I understand him. I understand how he is and how he does things. And because of that, I also know how I can push him to do the other things that he's not seeing. And that's what a lot of women don't see or know.
Fantastic. So what was your anchor? What did you hold on to get through the trying times, both in life and in business?
Same thing again. My past and God, more like God as well. Let me not say that he's not like I don't pray. I do. I pray. I feel like I read devotionals every day, and I feel like I'm constantly putting things, even though I don't remember it every day. I feel like you need to constantly put things back into your own spirit. So I do that often. I read devotionals every day. I pray every day, but I always go back to what I've been through. If you remember what you've been through and that you've been through it, then you look at where you're going now and you're like, okay, it's just another tough time. Just like nothing can beat leaving Akure where you didn't even have a passport. So it does not get nothing tops that. I'm sorry. It doesn't. So and that's what I still do today. I'm like, okay, fine. If we need to adjust, okay, I can't do this today. Not a problem. I went from one shoe to now you have it. You can't shop this year. Next year, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Like nothing really. Everything is as big or as little as you yourself make it.
Make it. Yeah, that's true.
So all the things I say, they're not things that I just say. I actually live it. I don't say anything that I don't truly believe and I'm not applied to myself. I'll apply all of these things to myself on a daily basis, on an occasional basis. When things come up, when he's driving me nuts, I'm like, okay, remember, you cannot allow it to drive you nuts. Don't allow it to stress you out, Remi. I'll be telling myself.
Wow. Amazing. Someone else is asking, how do you get access to the hottest fashion items from some of the best fashion houses in the world?
Same thing, networking, literally networking. And it was really, really hard when I first started, because when I first started, everyone's like, you're Nigerian. Okay, I don't think I can. I'm like, but I live here. I literally had to build my own name because Nigerians had a really bad name. So imagine you're going into Gucci and they're like looking at you funny. But here we are. I've been doing this since 2006. So everybody just knows me and I'm good at keeping up with people. So like if you think I've kept up with my friends from Nigeria, every store, I have people across the country in other countries that I have on, okay, I need this. I have just one message I send out to like a gazillion people and then people will get back to me. Okay, I got it. I don't have it. I this, I that. I remember their birthdays. Those are like my work friends. All of the stores and designers are my work friends. So then my personal friends are a different one. But yeah, we are constantly in touch with people back and forth. In this conversation, I've had like 3 different messages about, okay, this store is closing, this is going on, Remi, it's the same thing. My personality doesn't stop in just my house or with my son or I have these relationships with pretty much everyone. And when you have, the same thing applies. When you have good relationship with people, they understand your business, they understand what you're doing. Even when, to the point that I was sick and I had surgery, I still had people looking out for me.
Wow, amazing. So what advice would you give anyone who feels stuck right now?
Understand that this is something that is going on with everybody. Don't feel stuck based on the current COVID times. Understand that it's a situation that that's happening to everybody across the world. You will get past this. You literally will. These are, as they say, unprecedented times. They literally are unprecedented times. So yes, you may not have been through something exactly like this, but I'm sure somewhere in your life you've gone through something. So just hold on to that and hold on to it and allow that to push you through.
Thank you so much. I'm going to take one more question because I think the thing is just to cut off in like 3 minutes. So I'll take one more question so that we can close this. So does your taste play a major role in choosing your clientele?
I don't choose my clients. They choose me.
Bam, love it.
No, I don't choose my clients. They choose me. I'm being honest because, I mean, it's luxury. So I'm not the girl to send to guy. No, I've had people ask me like, okay, but I want a fake. I don't buy fakes, even if you're sending me, because if I buy one fake, then it now tarnishes everything else that I've purchased that was real. So if you're looking for fake, I'm not the girl for you. I'll tell you immediately, I'm sorry. Can you help me? No. It's very simple. I can't. But again, I'm a luxury stylist. So if you're looking for luxury items, then yeah, I'm the person for you. I know people that think I'm too expensive. I'm like, oh, that's okay, no problem. Because again, as I said, I've gotten to the point whereby I don't feel I need to hem and haw. Again, I've been at this way too long to have to do that. There are people that value me for the way I am because they don't just get their fashion, they get all of this with it. So they would rather do that and get all of this with it. And for some people, they don't like this, and that's okay too.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming on our Untold Stories of Failure. We enjoyed every bit of this. We've learned so much. And I love you because you're so strong. And, you know, I think every woman needs to learn, you know, what you've been through, what your story, even from your mom's story, like it's super inspiring. You know, anyone can go through anything, and we don't choose our future, we don't choose our past. You know, things happen, but
things happen, but you need to learn from it. Learn from it.
Learn from other people's experiences, and just try to remain strong. Understand yourself, self-confidence. Self-love. You know, empower yourself. Learn from other people. Join communities. So join AJS Tribe community.
Exactly.
We have over 1,000 women. If you're going through something, another woman is going through
has gone through it. Yeah, exactly. And she can be
she's
helpful
been
for
through
you.
it
If you
before.
find yourself with people that are not, if you find yourself with people that don't help you or feel like they're making fun of you, let them go. It's not, don't blame yourself. Find that one is just not the person for you. Let that one go.
Exactly. So always. So I always say, you know, once you have that community of women that you can always bounce ideas off each other, you're stronger. You know, recently, you know, someone from the community called me and said her cousin was going through something, you know, it was a domestic violence issue, and then they had to get, you know, DSVRT and all that involved, you know, and this woman, she was somebody who was like a top government official. And she didn't even know what to do because she had never been in that situation before. But I've dealt with so many women, so I had to even speak to different people in my network and said, okay, she's spoken to a particular ministry, but you know they were trying to ask for money, so I need another number for another ministry, and eventually we were able to get to the bottom of it, and the woman was, you know, would I say saved, but she, you know, they found her. And you know she was able to get through that, you know, situation. But imagine if she didn't have anybody to talk to. Imagine if she didn't have
it matters.
You know, it matters. You know, even with business, you know, women, we hardly get funded because almost all the funders are men. But just having that network that, you know, you can access grants and loans and all of that at the bottom, at your fingertips. You know, there are different opportunities that we share every day, even from social media, you know, within the community and all that. And we have, you know, plenty people who have gotten from that. There's nothing stronger than that. So thank you so much for coming with us. We've learned so much from your story. I'm so happy to speak to you today.
Thank you for having me.
I watched it 2 years ago and I watched it again today because I knew that I might have forgotten some bits, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like I don't know how we were able to do that and come out still very strong, still very happy. Some people will be so scarred, that they would never ever want to get married again. They might not, even when they get married, they might start having issues and stuff like that. But you've been able to balance it out, you've been able to manage it. And you know, I see you and your husband, and both of you are working it out. So thank you so much for being so honest and being
No
so
problem.
open. You
No
know,
problem.
super
All
amazing.
we've got is each other, really.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you for
Yes,
having
I
me. Have a
learned a
good
lot.
night.
Thank you.
Bye.
So guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know, it's AGS Tribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. She's Remi Fagbohun on Instagram. I'm Ife Durosinmi Etti on Instagram. You can also follow AGS Tribe. And contact her. Contact her if you need anything, any items, you know, luxury items. She's actually amazing. I've heard so much about her. So bye guys. Thank you for joining.